Namaste. I'm Citizen Zero of India. This is the 19th of August 2026. I'm recording this video because just a few days ago I made a placard. Um, I made a few placards in the last few weeks. I made one for I made one that said vote chori, stop vote chori, save Indian democracy, and I placed it outside the house, outside in the front of the gate, and after a couple of days, वो भी चोरी हुआ. Vote, stop vote चोरी, save Indian democracy, वो placard, वो बोर्ड लगाए थे, वो भी चोरी हुआ. और recently, August 15th, Independence Day के लिए, 80th Independence Day के लिए, Indian Independence Day के लिए मैं एक ग्रीटिंग कार्ड बनाए थे. इसके साथ वो प्लकार्ड में उधर लिखा था फ्री उमर खालिद, फ्री शारजील इमाम, ये है नोबल मैंशन ऑफ फ्री इंडिया, और जस्टिस फॉर उमर एंड शारजील, एंड हैप्पी इंडिपेंडेंस डे इंडिया. और preamble लिखा था उसका ऊपर, we the people of India having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic to secure unto its citizens justice, liberty, equality, fraternity, to promote fraternity with each other, ensuring the dignity of the individual, the integrity of the union, and so hereby in the Constituent Assembly of November 26, 1949, to adopt an act and give unto ourselves this Constitution of India. वो preamble भी लिखा था, वो एक प्लकार्ड में, और घर के बाहर लगाए थे. वो भी 2 दिन के बाद कोई लोगों ने चोरी किया इसका. तो so it occurred to me that I should make more videos. It's all this placarding, pamphleting, journalism, वो सब पुराना ज़मान का है, 1920s का है. अभी इंटरनेट ज़माने में हम वीडियो ही बनाना है. तो ये है मेरा घर मैं बेंगलोर से बात कर रहा हूँ. मैं सिटीजन जीरो ऑफ इंडिया. तो आप देख रहे हैं ये ग्राफिटी है. मैं ये सिंबल बनाया था. ये है लेफ्ट फिस्ट का सिंबल, बर्निंग लेफ्ट फिस्ट. ये सिंबल आप जूलियस सीजर का प्ले में, शेक्सपियर का प्ले में एक्ट 1 सीन 3 में आएगा. वो उसके बाद उस समय कैशियस बताता है, किसको बताता है यार, कैशियस बताता है वो एक रोमन को. तो बहुत अजीब रात थे, क्या सब कुछ क्या 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 भी, आई सॉ मैनी थिंग्स. और एक स्लेव था, वो उसका लेफ्ट फिस्ट आग में था. He held up a burning left fist and it flamed like 20 torches, and that is what this symbolizes. It's the torch of liberty, that until the end. It's a fist of resistance for liberty till the end, that even if that's वो है उसका मतलब. और क्या हुआ कि ये ग्राफिटी बनाए थे एक चिल्ड्रंस प्लेग्राउंड में. हम ये ग्राफिटी पेंट कर और उधर ये स्लोगन लिखा था ग्राफिटी में, फ्री उमर खालिद, जस्टिस फॉर उमर खालिद, uh, citizens of India stand with Umar Khalid, a noble mansion of free India where all her children may dwell. वो लिखा थे और उसको किसी ने ब्लैक वॉश किया 2-3 दिन के बाद में और तो उसका ऊपर और एक स्लोगन लिखा था नेक्स्ट डे नोबल मैंशन ऑफ फ्री इंडिया सेकेंड डे लिखा था फर्स्ट डे फ्री उमर खालिद वो भी वो लोगों ने ब्लैक वॉश किया तो पेंट काली हुआ नहीं कुछ नहीं कर सकते थे लेकिन after a week the police arrived at my doorstep here and asked and they took me to the police station without any questions, without a warrant. I resisted. I said, show me a warrant. They said, no, it's just some questions. Come. And the police, plainclothes policeman, also entered the house. He didn't even. I'd left the door open. He entered the house. So I said, please leave. What is this about? They didn't even tell me it's about the graffiti. When I arrived at the police station, I found out they had the CCTV video of graffiti. Anyway, I went with them because they said it's not a big issue. And I said, okay, actually, I have an FIR that filed with the police, and I've not received confirmation. Maybe it's this issue, and I went, but it wasn't. So it was about the graffiti, and they said, you're the guy who painted the graffiti, right? I said, yeah. So I said, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing provocative, and I just said, free Umar Khalid, justice for Umar Khalid, noble mansion of free India, citizens of India stand with Umar Khalid. They said you can't do this kind of thing in public places. I said, okay, fine. What is the charge? Is it? So he said, we don't know the charge. There's inspector. Anyway, I'm going through this bit, but maybe the issue is a few more things. What I wanted to talk about today. About placards getting stolen. So anyway, that was over. That was a few months ago. उसके बारे में मैं वो पुलिस स्टेशन का हुआ था वो इंसिडेंट के बारे में सोशल मीडिया सिटीजन जीरो ऑफ अर्थ ट्विटर पेज पे लगा है आप पढ़ सकते. Anyway, they made me wait that day for 4 hours or they didn't have a charge. They finally dropped me home. And they, in the end, they accused me of before letting me go. He said, we'll put you for terrorism. I said, how? And then I said, okay, if you have a charge, definitely arrest me because I can't deny that the CCTV footage was there. But I also asked them, the real charge is mischief here, but the other charge is, which I'm accusing, is there was a hate crime committed because those who blackwashed something so innocuous, something so benign, that said, noble mansion of free India where all her children may dwell in a children's playground, and someone went and blackwashed it, that's a hate crime. Someone blackwashed, I graffitied free Umar Khalid, justice for Umar Khalid, citizens of India stand with Umar Khalid, someone blackwashed it, that again is a hate crime. I said, can you tell me, give me the CCTV footage of who blackwashed it? This they didn't. Said, we don't know, we don't have it. So I have a guess, it's either RSS or the municipality, because the RSS use the playground many times, and they might have done it, because the second time they had scribbled some home symbols and all. But anyway, so this had happened in May. I posted this on social media, you can check it out, but I'm not here to talk about that. I'm just pointing about the origin of this symbol, this fist. This is dedicated to Umar Khalid because that's what he stands for. He stands for Article 19 rights, free speech, peaceful assembly, for the protection of Article 19, for the liberty of the protection of the defense of the Constitution of India. That is what this symbol means. Okay, so I'm doing this video because recently on August 15th I posted this. I made another placard and hung it in front of the house, and that was stolen. और एक बात है, August 11th उमर का बर्थडे था, तो इसमें I thought समझ लिया उसका एक ग्रीटिंग कार्ड भी बना देंगे इसके साथ. तो fine, all gone. now I'm here to make this video. So I guess that's what millennials want to know. They don't read op-eds I've written. So I'm doing this video about what Umar Khalid's case is about, what I understand this case to be about. So wait a second, folks. Introducing our Republic of India's first of her great patriots of this 21st century, the Nelson Mandela of India. Right? Bahar yaar. Hey, Bahar yo. We're gonna have a problem here. Will the real Slim Shady please stand up? The greatest Indian alive, Umar Saeed Khalid. No, he's in Tihar jail right now. And we'll tell you why, what happened to Umar. Umar Khalid, born August 11th, 1987 in Delhi, India, educated at Delhi University with his BA and Jawaharlal Nehru University, JNU, with MA, MPhil, a PhD in Adivasi Studies on state, community and contingencies of rule in Singhbhum from 1830 to 1897. आपको शायद पता है ब्रिटिश ज़माने से ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी का रूल से ब्रिटिश क्राउन तक सिंघभूम एक गांव था, आदिवासी का गांव, शायद वेस्ट बंगाल या मध्य प्रदेश, भूल गए, उमर का मुझसे पूछना है. और इसको if anyone has the link to JSTOR for where the PhD papers are, thesis, I'd like to read it. I don't have the resources. So anyway, Umar, in September 2020, he's not, folks, he's not just Umar Khalid, he's Dr. Umar Khalid. With respect, please. In September 2020, Umar Khalid was arrested by the Delhi police on FIR 59 charge of UAPA, quoting a snippet of his speech that he had made at Amravati in Maharashtra on February 17th, 2020. Now, many of us, we've already seen this speech. I mean, we've heard this speech. It's a great speech. Think about this. In 2020, Umar was born in 87, so I'm assuming so he was about 32 years old making that speech. Okay, or he's 32 years old, and from the time of 2016, so I guess from time 28, he's been making eloquent, brilliant speeches on the campuses of JNU, and he's been invited on news channels. So he's a very articulate young man, and he's wasting his years away in jail for on no proven charges. So imagine what a loss it is for the youth of India, of someone with such a voice, a lion of an individual. I mean, without blemish. I mean, if we think about who's an ideal person to represent them in Parliament, I would say he. I mean, he's not one of the holy cows parties. He's not one of the elephant grand old party people. He's a radical Democrat. He roars like a lion. So, you know, like if you see the Dharma Chakra, there's the ox, the elephant, there's the lion, and there's the horse. The horse is when we become like China, I guess. I don't know, when we're a technological powerhouse, we're leading the charge everywhere in the world, but we're not doing that yet. So but there is lion, stands for liberty, like the roar. It's the one that defies thou shalt and thou shalt not. It's the one that carves new values in our society. Umar, as you understand, as I was saying, on September 2020, was arrested by the Delhi police for his based on and the for, as based on the speech he made in February 17th, 2020. So basically, about 6 months later, they arrested him, saying that speech was part of a planned conspiracy. Umar had they booked him in April 2020, but they did not arrest him until that time because they didn't have any other charge. And the charge when they arrested him was UAPA FIR 59 as part of a planned conspiracy and causing to incite Delhi riots of 2020. Most notably, you all know that Umar is not even at the scene of riots. He's probably still in Maharashtra. He was still in Maharashtra making his speech there. It is his hometown, Amravati, by the way, his native town, as I came to realize. His parents are from there. How can a man there, who's not even in Delhi, be accused of the Delhi riots? The Delhi riots happened a week later, on between, I think, the night of February 23rd and the morning of February 25th. This was about 2 days after the president of USA had come to India for his visit before his electoral campaign, and he left on 24th, I think. And after he left, the Delhi riots took place. So what happened in the Delhi riots? Some 53 persons, mostly Muslims, were killed in arson, lynching, shooting, and murder. I think the ratio is about 39 Muslims and 14 Hindus were killed, or was the casualty. Some 2,500 persons were arrested on that day. About 1,600 of these persons were directly charged. 400 of them on that day was assigned to a special investigations team. Some 21 persons more of them were assigned to a special cell within the special investigation team. Okay? It took about another 3 years for a conviction in which 6 criminals were convicted for arson and murder, and I think most of them were Muslims. And I think one of them was a Hindu or something. Anyway, these people were convicted separately. But the truth is that the police also released many BJP affiliated party workers among those arrested that day. Strangely enough. And they went on to participate in the municipality elections thereafter. That is why they were released. Now, weeks prior to the Delhi riots, all through February and January, there were, Shaheen Bagh sit-out protests by women of Shaheen Bagh, citizens of India. So they had done whatever they call the Chakka Jam sit-outs in Delhi. And it had frustrated the BJP government so much that their party workers, their younger party workers, just in their chauvinism, had made all kinds of videos threatening those women of violence if they don't evacuate their sit-outs. This has been recorded. I think 4 of those videos were recorded. They themselves recorded and posted it, that they were going to incite violence. This is prior to the Delhi riots, about just a few days before that. Then the Delhi riots happened. Okay? So since 2020, as you understand, Umar, Khalid, along with another fellow JNU student, Sharjeel, Imam, have remained detained at Delhi's Tihar jail under UAPA without a proven charge. When they were arrested, they said there was no clear charge. Even the papers didn't know what the charge is. In September 2020, when they booked them in April 20, even the police didn't know what they were going to charge them as. In September 2020, they said it's a conspiracy. So right now, they have their trial hearing in Supreme Court for a conspiracy to carry out the Delhi riots. Can you believe that? Okay, so they're without a proven charge. They've not even had their trial. They're still in trial detention. Their trials have been postponed many times. Why do you think? Then, not only their trials have been postponed, has not arrived, trial date, the bails until trial. Why should they remain in trial detention? They're not terrorists. They didn't carry out any violence directly. There is nothing against them. So 22 times the bail hearings have been denied, and the bench, the honorable justices of the Supreme Court, their rotating bench, 2 at a time, 3 at a time, have themselves recused from adjudicating the case. Recusal is a judge says, I don't want to deal with this case. It's like, this is what, because it is so egregious, how can you, because they can't just make a ruling, they have to write a whole judgment, and there is no case there. So the judges have themselves recused themselves without giving him bail, without even proceeding with the trial. They're in a free, fair, open and humane manner. This is what UAPA has done. What is the UAPA? UAPA stands for Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. It's a draconian British colonial era law, invoked during the emergencies of World War I, World War II, and many times during Indian Home Rule in 1916-17, and non-cooperation, civil disobedience after 1920, up to 1942, Quit India movements, independence movements. All this UAPA has been invoked against what? To curb speeches, publications, peaceful assemblies, free movement of ordinary Indian subjects, and against all our nation's independence leaders of that era. Okay? So there is no this has been used since the colonial era, and now UAPA has been invoked by current government of India and other states since 2014, as you're all aware, as their primary anti-terrorism law against students, peace activists, writers, journalists, and especially minorities of our country. Do you think this is an anti-terrorism law? I don't think so. It's some kind of fascist law. So, in the same manner as the British colonial impositions, there are no charges when someone's arrested for UAPA. There is an indefinite delay in trial detention. There's no bail granted. Or under very difficult, it's not by default, bail is usually the default. And the most Kafkaesque situation, that there is no public information available on this trial. Even the trial hearings, the bail hearings, the prima facie hearings, they're all carried out in great secrecy, or in the judge's chambers apparently. So there's no public information. The newspapers stopped printing about this. So it's only like Live Law and Bar Bench that are following up whatever is happening in the Supreme Court and putting out feeds on the social network, and most people don't know what's going on. They just have the bugbear. There's a guy with a Muslim name. He's been arrested under anti-terrorism law, so he must be a terrorist. And so this is how they have carried out the public relations of this case. We have some questions for the Delhi police as a result. Can the Delhi police clarify where in the internet public domain can citizens of India and the press find the following information concerning the events that took place on the days of the Delhi riot from February 23rd to 25th, 2020? I do not know if the Delhi police have this information. Or I mean, obviously they should have this information, that is due diligence, but should we have to file a right to information to obtain this from them? So we want to know, we have about 10 questions. If the Delhi police can please pay attention here and tell us where we can get this information. Number 1, official report on forensics, investigations, timeline, sequences of events. Okay? Number 2, list of the 2,500 persons arrested on the day of the Delhi riots, the 1,600 of them who were charge sheeted, the whatever 400 plus of them who were transferred to the special investigations team, the 21 of them who were under special cell, the 6 of them who were convicted, the 1 person who's, I guess, given a death penalty. I don't know. We want the names of all these people on the list in the right to information. Then uh, um, has UAPA been invoked against any of these people that we just numbered? There's quite a few. Has the UAPA Act been invoked? If not, why? Reasons. Third, uh, we want a list of FIR reports filed on that day and the list of FIRs by the victims and their families. We want a list of that and the details. Fourth, uh, number of on-field Delhi police on that day and access to all their field reports, walkie-talkie, phone exchanges, CCTV footages, and did the police, number 5 question, did the Delhi police succeed in stopping the riots on their own? If not, how many other security forces were called for assistance? Was there the CRPF, the army called? And how long did the Delhi police have to wait to call for assistance? This information. Okay? Number 6. Does the Delhi police consider the conspiracy succeeded or failed? Was failed to achieve its goal? We want, if they, whatever their answer is, whether it was successful or a failure, a proof of one-to-one correspondence between the conspiracy plans and the damage to life and property in the affected neighborhoods. That must be a very well-planned operation. So I'm sure the Delhi police have done their homework and they can provide ye hai plan, ye hai action, ye hai plan, ye hai destruction, ye hai plan. We want that one-to-one correspondence. Number 7. Was it part of the conspiracy by these people accused, by these JNU students, by these scholars? Was it part of their conspiracy that 39 out of the 53 persons killed on the day of the riots were Muslims and 14 of them were Hindus? Was this part of that conspiracy? If so, I mean, how is it that all the conspirators charged under UAPA are whatever, technically Muslims? So details of how each of these 53 persons were killed, we want a report on that. This is all in the RTI we are requesting. Number 8, all evidence of religious violence during the riots and proof of one-to-one correspondence with any religious leanings, exhortations, plans, reactions of either the conspirators, these scholars, or those rioters, those who were rioting on the streets. Like who among them were raising religious sloganeering? Who among them were religiously motivated carrying out that violence? Then, question number 9. Why were the 4 BJP workers, I cannot recall the names, but it's on the social media, who published those videos on the social network, and whom the High Court actually directed the Delhi police with a subpoena to place that evidence before the courts, the 4 of those videos. They declared to carry out their violence before the Delhi riots. Why have they not been charged with Unlawful Activities Prevention Act? And why was this evidence originally withheld from the Delhi High Court? The police, we want a statement from the Delhi police. Finally, this is the most hilarious. Question number 10. Why is Umar Khalid not mentioned in any of these aforesaid lists? In any of these 9 questions we have asked and the list of people's names in it, why is Umar Khalid not present in any of that? Because these lists were created on the day of the riots. They had not even conceived of the plan of framing Umar at that point. That is what we deduced. Where was he and the others accused to be found on those days? So will the Delhi police clarify these 10 questions? We would be very grateful and forward the response to Office of Citizens Bureau of India. Thank you. So wait, hold on a second. We have a few more facts to clarify. But I mean, this is for the rest of the audience. This is Citizens Bureau of India. We're carrying out this documentary on what happened in the case of Dr. Umar Khalid. So basic fact number 1 was, if the Delhi riots of 2020 was the result of a conspiracy actual hard evidence available, not hypothetical conjectures, indicates that the conspirators were not the accused Umar Khalid, Dr. Umar Khalid, and the other students of Jawaharlal Nehru University, whose alleged speeches and activities from December. They were alleged of a conspiracy based on the meetings and speeches from December 2019, when the police formed the conspiracy plan during the arrest in September 2020. So, can someone clarify that the main meetings were about organizing peaceful assembly protests against the parliamentary enactment of the Citizenship Amendment Act (CAA), which was enacted in December 2019. That is when they began their meeting to say we should carry out peaceful assembly. That's when the Shaheen Bagh sit-outs was organized. There was no the Shaheen Bagh sit-outs was carried out by women, and they were part of the protest movement against the CAA, the National Citizens Registry (NRC). This is all that the meetings were about. But the conspirators really were the Delhi party workers of the Bharatiya Janata Party (BJP) and the Rashtriya Swayam Sevak, the RSS, the old Hindu Mahasabha, now in its other vigilante thing. So why did they do this? Why did they conspire such a plan to carry out the Delhi riots? Because of intending to inflict violence and to intimidate and deter the continuation of the weeks of anti-CAA peaceful sit-outs in Shaheen Bagh neighborhood carried out by the citizens of India, exercising their Article 19 fundamental rights as per the Constitution of India. Okay. What is the basic fact number 2? The events of the Delhi riots was of the nature of religious violence in minority concentrated neighborhoods, in the pattern of the Gujarat riots of 2000. Now, it is important to note neither any charges or evidence against the accused Dr. Umar Khalid and other students of JNU, nor the prima facie judgments made by the Delhi High Court in 2020 and the Supreme Court in 2026 January, nothing in their judgments or charges indicates that any of the speeches or actions or meetings carried out by Dr. Umar Khalid and his colleagues, the JNU students, from December 2019 or even previously, they had never had any religious undertones or motivation. There is no charges. Even the judge's report doesn't say that. Okay? Whereas hard evidence indicates, what is available on social media videos, that religious exhortations took place during the riots. It was recorded with Hindutva sloganeering, saying Jai Shri Ram and all that. Who does that? Who chants that and carries out this kind of violence? This kind of against citizens of India. If you want to say something like that, go join the army. Go defend the country at its borders. Why harass the citizens of India? What's wrong with you people? So, basic fact number 3. So you understand that there is no religious violence charged against the students of JNU or in Dr. Umar Khalid. The religious motivation for this violence and the nature exhibited of religious violence was carried out by the riot, by whatever, the BJP RSS people. Okay, fact number 3. What is the reason for the delays in the trial hearings and the bail denials, recusal of justices on the bench in the case of Dr. Umar Khalid and the conspiracy in the case of Dr. Umar Khalid and the accused JNU students of the Delhi riots? Can anyone guess? So the delay and the denial, the delay of his bail hearings and the delay of his trial is because The public prosecutor has no case, but conjectures, neither facts nor a believable storyline, but really a terrible lack of creativity and imagination that they cannot convince anyone. Not only anyone in Delhi, a Delhi boy, Umar Khalid, protecting his city. They cannot convince the Delhiites, they cannot convince the rest of India, and they cannot convince the world. Because they don't have anything believable in the storyline or imagination. The Delhi police only have trumped up charges, no evidence, only bungling and complicity in handling the law and order situation at the time of the riots. The failure to handle the law and order situation. They allowed it to deteriorate into religious violence and rioting. Okay? And along with that, they ended up releasing the prime suspects. Those BJP party workers who contested in the municipality elections, who posted videos on social media threatening violence, they were let free. Okay? So it is not Dr. Umar Khalid who is guilty of the conspiracy of Delhi riots of 2020. Rather, it is the Delhi police who are guilty of a conspiracy against Umar Khalid since 2016. Okay? Now, if you've been following the news, now there's like if you map out the timeline, you understand why the Delhi police have had a conspiracy. Because it's elementary, my dear Watson. Why the charge of conspiracy came about in 2020. Why it took so long? Because it's elementary, my dear Watson. When you have eliminated the impossible, then whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. And the truth is, with the government of India having usurped control of the Delhi police from the Delhi government after 2020, it implicates the ruling BJP party in having caused a breakdown of the constitutional machinery, which would call for the imposition of president's rule in Delhi at the time, and for the dismissal of the Narendra Modi government. Since that cannot be done so to itself, a government cannot do that to itself, and especially with its absolute majority in parliament in between 2019 and 2024, it has to be acted on now by the current parliament in the defense of the Constitution of India. Okay, so those are the facts. Remember the facts. And I've made a video presentation if you want to, the rest of the information's on it. But if you want to know basically the brief timeline, the news reports from 2016 to 2026, just these are the few important details. Okay? 2012 to 2016, I think when Umar began as a student in Jawaharlal Nehru University, and natural, anyone who goes there is a peace activist. I mean, that is, you gotta have something that it's inspirational to be at. Obviously, moreover, he's a doctoral candidate on the thesis for his thesis on Adivasi studies, as we mentioned at the beginning of this video. Then, not only that, his thesis has been praised by Professor Ramchandra Guha, who wrote the recent most popular history books of from India after Gandhi and a few others, I think, which I haven't read all his books, but so he has praised his thesis, saying he has also studied about tribal, forest tribal and Adivasis, and he has said it's a consummate thesis. It's very rare for a person, for such a young person to write such an eloquent report. And what did the Delhi University do later in 2018? They prevented Umar from submitting this thesis. Okay? Uh, Umar was active in student protests from 2016 onwards. And in 2016, he and other JNU students were arrested based on some doctored video by the police who arrested him. And in the video, they had, and this forensic report, all the what I'm stating right now has been quoted in main newspapers of India, the Hindu, the Times of India, the Indian Express, whatever other newspapers. They've said that the forensic studies studied on the videos in 2016 show that the police had manipulated this video and they had inserted words during the student protest, and then they had arrested the students saying you were carrying out anti-national slogans. This they can do to anyone. They can do it to the students protesting in Delhi right now because of their exams or now their exam papers leaking. So, folks, just because you're not Umar Khalid, or just because you're saying, oh, this only affects Muslims, and this doesn't affect the rest of Indians, it is a violation of constitutional rights. If this is happening to anyone, you should pay attention. You should learn the Voltairean defense, that even though I may not agree with you on everything, I will defend your right to have that opinion under Article 19. Okay? So this is what happened. So then after 2016, Umar's been through a lot of strife. 2018, some Haryana vigilantes of RSS or someone tried to assassinate him with a gun against his head. Okay? And then in 2018, his own university let him down. They didn't accept his thesis, not just him, of the other JNU students, because of his activism, his student activism. They said they wanted him to, because the government was putting pressure on them. So in 2020, finally, this is after everything, after demonetization, and after the CAA, NRC, and the one before that, and the Jammu and Kashmir Article 370 abrogation. After all that happened in 2020, Umar made a speech, like I said, in Amravati about the CAA. And anyway, so then the Delhi riots happened, and he was arrested in 2020 under UAPA, and multiple, as we've gone through. I'm just going through all the. What I'm saying right now is the information obtained directly from news reports, and I've provided the links for all these news reports. It's there on Wikipedia, all these links, but I've also included these links at the end of this video. So Umar's been detained under trial without conviction at Tihar jail at that point, from 2020 until 2024, for about 1,400 days, during which the judges have recused themselves, his bails have been denied, his trials have been denied, and in 2026, as we went, his lawyer, his attorney, Dr. Kapil Sibal, you probably know he's a very famous person, former law minister, senior Supreme Court advocate. I think he's, he asserted in 2024 or 2025 to the Supreme Court, please conduct his trial. It would take 20 minutes to clear him, to exonerate him. There is nothing in his case. Why don't you just carry out the trial? And they didn't. The trial date has not arrived. Why? Because the prosecutors, the public prosecutors, whose entire case is based on the charge sheet by the police, don't have a story. They don't have a defense. They don't have an accusation. They don't have a believable storyline. They don't even have, basically, in any way they can convincingly accuse, beyond just a prima facie conjecture, that Umar's carried out a conspiracy. He's not. So this is why the Supreme Court has not brought up the case to a trial. The prosecution has not. So in January 2026, the Supreme Court made a 142-page pre-trial prima facie judgment, and it said, when I read it, it didn't sound any different from what the prosecution had already said. It was simply reaffirming the prosecution statement. And it was not, it didn't read altogether different from what the Delhi High Court prima facie judgment. Again, bear in mind, the trial hasn't come up. Only a prima facie, that is, when you go to the judge for the first time. In these judgments that they have written, they're very identical, with the Supreme Court and the Delhi High Court. And what does it imply? If you read through these judgments, I read it in the Supreme Court Observer document, and I was just appalled by the kind of, well, basically, I thought, like, how do you explain this? Like, there's all this jurisprudence technobabble in it, and how do you explain it? Like Denzel Washington says in Philadelphia, saying, "Hey, sirs, can you explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old?" And so, what does it say? Even if the best lawyer, according to what their jurisprudence is, even if the best lawyer on earth should defend, should should clarify and prove that that Umar Khalid is not guilty, is innocent on any specific fact, but the jurisprudence according to the conspiracy says the guilt lays in the connection to any number of other facts not yet in question. How is that? That's like that is again against the fundamental right, Article 22, as a matter regarding right one's rights during a conviction. Okay, so then, and yet they also granted bail to the 6 other JNU students. There were 6 of them, I think, together with Umar. And or 5 of them, Umar and Sharjeel, are the only ones who have not received the bail. Why were the others receive? Why did the others receive the bail? And I don't know. I mean, like, the judges says, so we need individual specific investigations, and then, but we actually think, I mean, like, if I'm if Kafka would say something else. But the point is, those people who are released, though it's those people who are given bail, I mean, bless them. I mean, they've suffered enough. Everyone suffered enough out of this. Even the citizens of India, but no one has suffered more than Umar and Sharjeel. But they were given bail, but with complete dilution of any of their rights. It's no fundamental rights. They have no rights to, basically, they have no rights to protest. They have no rights to discuss this case. They have no rights to travel anywhere outside India. They have no rights to even, like, in the electronic communications is restricted. What they email, what they send by phone. It's like everything. They can't talk about it. They're gagged. Okay? Maybe Umar or Sharjeel refused to be compliant with the gag order and said, no, we will wait for the trial. I don't know. I mean, because we have not heard from Umar. It is a fundamental right of anyone accused to confront their accusers, to make a public statement. But we have not heard from the prime accused. So what do we know? All we know is it's just a blank. This is what UAPA has done. Okay? Now, folks, one other thing is May 2026 was, I guess, the last time the courts once again sat another 2-person bench. And I mention this because it was it was Honorable Chief Justice Nagratnama and Ujjal Bhuyan, Honorable Justice, and these are the only 2 justices who have dissented against the main opinion against the other judges who merely recused themselves. And these 2 justices have said bail is the norm, and not only in all cases in India, and also in this UAPA, and moreover that what the judgment was made in January 2026 by the 3-person bench did not read the precedent earlier. Otherwise, Umar and Sharjeel might have been exonerated with a bail, or might have been given a bail with the rest of the other accused at the same time. This is what the dissenting opinion has said, latest in May 2026. Okay, so this is Citizen Zero of India. I think this things gone long enough, and the phone there's not a lot of space on my phone. So thanks for watching, folks. Have a great day. Um, Vande Mataram, Mera Bharat Mahan, Bharat Mata Ko Jai. What else? Inkidlab Zindabad, Viva la Revolution, and justice for Umar Khalid, and Jai Hind. Thank you. Buy me a coffee, actually beer. Thanks.